really happy to be here with you guys. As Bevy mentioned, we met through crafting many years ago and developed a really awesome bond. And I have enjoyed some meetings over at Vista Center when I was still living in the area of doing crafting. I love crafting. I love sharing crafting. And I think that anybody can find something to do with their hands that brings them joy. And Bevy shared a lot of what we have been doing and discovering, and at I think we called it Vista Crafting Day. I don't remember
Yes.
what quite we called it, but we had a nice group and we would get together about once a month and create different things. We made with that Proddy pillow that Bevy was showing, we made Proddy wreaths for Christmas and Proddy Christmas trees.
I use mine
And
all the time. It's called
yeah,
Pride
they
with a D.
yeah. And then we have we've made wreaths with they were like sunflowers that were could be an indoor or outdoor wreaths. We have done things with made little dishes with polymer clay. Um,
Can
can't
you
think
tell me a
of
little
off
bit,
the top.
tell us a little bit more about that clay?
So
What kind?
polymer clay is it comes in a small block and you can tear pieces off. It comes in all sorts of different colors, and you can tear pieces off and mold it. Either you can roll it in balls. You can use something to like we used little custard dish bowls and pushed the clay into the bowl to retain a bowl shape, and you can really whatever your imagination to sculpt to form. Think of back in the days of Play-Doh where you could do anything with it, and then we bake it.
Oh,
And
you bake it. Okay.
the baking has it harden up and it retains the color of the clay that it was. And you can, once it's baked, you can gloss it over if you want kind of a shiny or a matte look, but you don't need to. It just can come out of the oven and be ready for whatever. You can make ornaments, Christmas ornaments for trees. Really, it's endless of whatever your imagination can think of. You can use cookie cutters to roll out your clay and then use a cookie cutter for the shape and just put a little hole in the top of it with like a dowel or a pencil, and you've got some ornaments.
I'm
um
hearing a
it,
lot of
it's
craft nerds here.
Oh, what's that,
I'm
Sophia?
sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying I've seen, in the method that you described, a lot of,
Yes.
at craft fairs around here, little earrings made of polymer clay.
Yes,
They're
and
really
a lot
cute
of
and
people
colorful.
even rolling up beads and making necklaces, out of them. There's people will make, brooches or pins. There's just a lot of different fun things. You can make a small heart, use a cookie cutter, make a small heart, put a pin back, glue a pin back on the back, and you've got, a cute little heart to wear. There's cookie cutters in a million different shapes and sizes nowadays, so it really makes it easy to just don't have to really be super artistic to create the shape that you want. So that's a really fun thing. um, the yarn, I love creating with fiber, so that's why I love the Proddy is just taking strips of wool and you tear them into a 1 inch strip and then cut them into 2 inch strips. It doesn't have to be precise, and then you use a tool or even a crochet hook, and you're pushing the wool into this background we call monk's cloth that holds it in place, and you're just punching one side in and then the other side in with the crochet hook or a lot of different fancy hooks you can get for it too. And you can just mix colors up like Bevy's pillow. She just kind of picked a color theme, neutrals and blues, and then mixed them all up into a bag after they were all cut, and then just grabbed whatever piece, and it came out beautiful. for Christmas trees and wreaths, we do the same thing. Just we have it shaped different than what a pillow would be. And once it's done, we would glue the backing together, or, in the shape of the circle for the wreath, and can glue little Christmas decorations, or baby put real Christmas lights on her little tree.
Right, I have little Christmas lights on mine and little teeny itty bitty Christmas bulbs.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it. I have it up every Christmas.
Oh, how fun.
And I've
So-
given a lot of the wreaths away. The wreaths, you can put like a battery candle in the middle of it, and then you can turn on the candle, and then you have the colorful wreath around the bottom of it. And again,
It's
you
really
can put the
pretty.
little ornaments in it, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, we just used like green and red pieces of the wool, so the red kind of looked like berries in the wreath. It's really just kind of thinking outside the box of how you might want something to be done. Like with Bevy, the baskets that she's showing, those are just clothesline type material, and then you wrap the yarn around the end of one and start coiling it, as you can see in the bottom part, if you can see that what you're holding up there. And you're just coiling around until the base is the size you want, and you're adding some glue, which is the hardest part of this, as Bevy can attest to getting
That's
glue
the part
everywhere.
anyway.
Same with woodworking.
I did it with my finger.
Yeah, but that's part of the fun. And then you start building the base up. Once you get the base as large as you want, you start building the sides up on top of the base, and clip it, and then when it's dried, you've got that nice basket there. I would be more than happy to make a trip to your area, Bevy, if you wanted to try to put together a Vista Craft Day and see what people might be interested in making.
I'll take
I
you
would be
once a
more
week. Can I have you once a week?
No, I'm sorry. But I would be happy to come out and do some crafting if people have a particular interest in that. We just have to, find the schedule to make it happen.
That would be great. And Sophia is here. I didn't introduce you to our manager, Sophia.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi.
And so she would be the one that could help put that schedule together and stuff. And I know that a lot of the people that, Hannah and Pat was good. She ended up not being able to come today, but she was going to bring her sunflower. Can you tell them about that?
So we took a wire wreath form. You get them at the dollar store, and on that we cut pieces. I can't remember what you call that. The material we made the leaves out of. It's I'm sorry, totally blanking out on what to call that. But we cut pieces and just of this material that's it's like a real wide ribbon with holes in it, like a netting almost. And we cut the pieces and tied them in a knot around the form of the wreath form, and they be petals of the sunflower. And then we placed a brown flat piece on it in the middle, and it made a really cute wreath. And not a lot of gluing on that one.
Yeah, and Pat loves her. She keeps it up all year long. She has it in her living room. She says she looks at it all the time. It just makes her happy.
And I'm sorry, back to the
that's
basket. What is the
Sure.
material? What's the actual material that this rope kind of coiled piece is
It
made of?
is. Yeah, you can get it at a couple different types of places. So at like a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby type store, we got macrame cord, and it's a 1/4 inch size. And then we used any type of yarn, or that one basket that you're holding right now is a yarn that is actually a fabric pieces, but it's shaped in a skein like yarn. So that has a really nice feel to it. And what you're doing is you just start with gosh, I think, Debbie, we figured 10 arm lengths of,
Yes.
of
Arm length means all the way, like
all, opening your
both
arms wide.
arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 lengths of the cording. It can also be clothesline that you get like at Ace Hardware. They've got
Yeah.
clothesline. You can use that. And you just use a quick dry glue. And the one that we found worked the best was by Aileen's, and it came in a tube, and that was the easy to apply it through the tube. You could just kind of squeeze it out onto like I don't know, every 3 inches as you're wrapping, you would put a bit of the glue on there so it held the shape.
If you dump out the coasters of that other basket and look at it, because it's variegated yarn, it comes out right each, or like a 2-inch layer of a solid color. Is that right, Janie?
Yeah. And then it changes colors and then it keeps changing colors. So it's really pretty.
Yeah.
This was a
And then when
great
you get to
idea.
how big you want, you cut the cording off and wrap the fabric or the yarn, whichever you call it. You could use strips of fabric if you had a bunch of fabric lying around, maybe make it a 1/2 inch or an inch thick of fabric, and you could wrap fabric around it, but we've got an abundance of yarn in my world, so we used yarn.
And do you start with that base, the bottom piece? Is that where you start and
Yes.
then you coil up? Once you get that
Yes.
first layer of base down, then you start layering up from there.
Yeah.
Yes. So the middle part, you can kind of feel it's got a little fold, like where it ends. So you would take the edge of the cording, wrap it, and then kind of squeeze it together. You kind of think of like making a candy cane shape, where the top
Okay.
of the candy cane goes over, and then you're squeezing those together, and then start wrapping around that tip.
And the next thing I'm gonna try is an actual tray, which will be made the same way, except for in the middle, it won't be a really tight little circle. It'll be more like a oblong. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, or rectangle or oblong,
Rectangle in the center,
either way.
and then as I wrap it, it'll end up being more tray size. And
Yeah,
then
you
just
just have
maybe
to,
put 2 around the sides. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I
you have
think
to kind of squeeze it as you're doing it to the shape you want.
Right.
I was gonna say I think our indigenous people would be happy to see how you guys made these baskets. It's pretty
I
cool.
think we saw
Nice.
something kind of like this when we went to the
At the
Natural History
museum.
Museum. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It looked like they were
made
more
with reed or
baskets.
some.
Yeah.
So I had no idea what I was gonna make when I went to Janie's house, and she got on the internet. And no, what did you do? Tell them what you did to
To
find
chat
it.
GPT. Chat GPT gave
Our
me a
good
bunch of
friends.
ideas,
Love
and then I
Yeah.
went from there. Yeah.
Finding
Yeah.
things that blind people could make, crafts that blind people could make, and so that she decided that we'd work on these baskets, and it totally, I like with the hooking, somebody has to outline the picture for me and then I can fill it in. And somebody also has to pick out the different colors, like the whole team would kind of get together and, well, what do you think if we put this with this and that with that and stuff? And then once it all got organized, then I could fill it in and do all the hooking on my own. But I needed help with it is what I'm trying to say. Now the Prati I didn't need help with exception of just cutting the what do you call that we use underneath?
A monk's cloth.
The monk's cloth. Somebody would cut the monk's cloth and from there it would go into a frame and I could just prod it without having any sighted help with it. But these baskets, I just clicked right in on them. I was so excited and so I said, I think before we start a basket, I should try the coaster first to see if it's even gonna work.
Oh, that's like the base. The coaster is almost like the base of the basket.
Exactly.
And then I made a coaster first, and then I started making the basket. And as soon as we got the basket done, Janie says, "Bev, feel this." And the coasters fit right inside the basket like it was meant to be. a holder
You
for the
planned it.
coaster. Yeah.
And I noticed the cord is two different sizes from this basket to the coaster basket. It's like
It's
the cord
actually the cord is the same, but what's being wrapped around it is
is
thicker
thick
on
on this one.
that one. Yes, on the fabricy type yarn.
Okay.
It just came out because of what we're wrapping around it made it thicker.
And it feels like you wrap that pretty tightly as you
Yes.
go around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huh. And there's actually like a little spiral detail, I feel. Isn't there, Sophia, is there like a
Yes.
little spiral going around there?
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah, wrapping
Yeah, the way you're wrapping
Yeah,
it.
like it's
like bandaged kind of.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Those are really cute.
So Bevy, do you think with your meta glasses that you would be able to they would be able to help you like do the colors and you would know what color yarn or material you were using in your project, or you need a sighted person?
No. Oh, you mean for the hooking? But with the
No,
basket,
even
no,
for
I
the
don't need a
basket.
sighted person. A sighted person I don't need for the basket. And yes, if I wanted to know, like I just started a new basket at home. I'm happy to tell you, Janie.
Yay.
And the meta helps me out so much with my clothing and my whatever I'm wearing and everything, yarn, everything. So yeah, and
Oh, good.
it's very good in telling all the colors and yeah.
Could it tell you the design on the little fabric yarn that you
Oh, on
use
this
for
here?
the basket? Because I can see tiny little colorful flowers.
In this one?
Yeah.
So I have my glasses on.
Oh, good. Basket. I was
Hey,
thinking
Meta.
about-
Can you tell me about the design of this basket that I'm holding? It just took a picture.
It looks handcrafted, what seems like fabric or yarn. They speckled multicolored pattern in soft beige, ink, blue, and green tones. And the outputs are tightly wound and stacked in even horizontal rings, giving it a sturdy texture. They're leaving it in its position right in the center of the ring, another green basket and bamboo.
No, that's good. Thank you. So
Janie, it totally described the whole thing.
you
Oh my
probably couldn't hear
gosh.
you probably
No.
couldn't hear that. I was trying to lean in so you might be able to hear it, but I think they heard it in the room though, didn't you?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I could hear it. Uh-huh.
And so it was pretty accurate.
It was, yeah. It said speckled
That's
design.
great.
Mhm.
Huh.
Yeah.
And the level of detail that my glasses is a he, so the level of detail that he was giving me just sounded phenomenal. And then he gave, even a little bit of background information about what was in the room and
Yeah.
that sort of thing as well. So
I promise I'm not looking down on you like he said. I'm looking down at the basket in your hand.
Janie, while you're here, maybe we could tell them about the cup that I did. And did you pick it up yet?
Oh, Bevy, I'm heartbroken
Tell them
to
what it
tell you.
looks like, and me too.
No, heartbroken to tell you it broke in the kiln
It did.
when it was
Oh,
being fired. It cracked, and I'm heartbroken to tell you. The glazing that you did was amazing. It came out beautiful. So what we did is there's a local place by me that does different classes involving, well, really everything, but we took a pottery, and it was finished pottery that we were glazing. And Bevy picked her base colors and used a sponge brush and was able to glaze the inside, the outside in these beautiful blues. And it came out spectacular, but the base part of it, they sit on something in the kiln called a cookie, believe it or not. It's just a round piece of pottery, and it stuck to the cookie. Some of the glaze must have dripped down onto it. And so it cracked, Bevy, and I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'll try
But
again
when you
next
come
time
next
I'm
time, we'll
out.
make it again.
Yeah.
So do you have your own kiln?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
Well, she doesn't,
I
but
do
the
not.
crafters do.
It's at that, yeah, where we go does, and I'm a member there, so I get to use all the supplies they have. It's really fun.
I'm sorry, you cut out. You go to where?
Oh, there's a craft type store. They call it Hello Handmade. And as a member, I can go when I want and use all of their tools and supplies.
That's fantastic.
And it is really fun. Yeah, they have a potting wheel and a kiln, and they do glass fusing. And I've taught some classes there for um, rug hook punching, and they do jewelry making. Um, a lot of different ceramic things. It's a fun little place for this little town to have.
So Janie has her certification and now she teaches people how to hook and make different things and has classes that she teaches. So it took her a long time to get that certification, but she did it.
Oh well.
Well, and I was going to mention that I I have a handout for today that Sophia will send out with the meeting note. Hopefully, I shouldn't speak
Yes,
for her.
yes, yes, yes.
Hopefully, she'll send out. But I was noticing, I was like checking some of the resources that was in the handout, and some of the. Uh, I was doing it with AI. With in this case, I was using Gemini, and it came back with a ton of information, but there were some that it was like hallucinating, or it blended one paragraph with the paragraph above it, and I could tell that as my NVDA was reading it back to me. I go, wait a minute, that sounds like the one above. And so when it was doing the phone numbers, it seemed like it got part of the number from the one above and part of the number from the one below. So I've got to straighten out the phone numbers, and then I can have Sophia send that out. And I basically asked Gemini, tell me, give me a listing of all of the organizations, clubs, groups that specialize in crafts, hobbies, artwork for the blind and visually impaired. And I was amazed at the information that came back, including the woodworking groups that I belong to. It had all that information in there, which was pretty amazing. But it also came back with a resource list of tactile art supplies. And that may be of use to you guys. I don't know.
So Janie, you want that list?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And there's a woman from Colorado. Let's see, her name was Ann Cunningham.
Oh, isn't that your friend? No, she
No.
lives in, okay, never mind. Sorry.
And she works with NFB, and she goes to the annual NFB conventions, and she sets up a room, and that's all they do is tactile arts and crafts for a whole week.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought, yeah, I keep waiting for one of those conventions to come close to us. This one coming up in the end of June is in St. Louis, and so she sets up an exhibit of all the different projects and things, and then has people, gives them the opportunity to work on things in the during the convention, that sort of thing. So I thought that was
Sounds like a
really
retreat.
Yeah.
Sounds so lovely.
It does. So I'll get that to Sophia, and then she can send that out to everybody. Let's see. Marcia, do you have any questions or anything for Janie? Didn't want to put you on the spot. And do we have anybody else with us, or is it?
No.
No, okay. Well,
I don't have any questions for Janie at this time.
okay, thank you. Janie, is there anything else that you want to add? I remember when you used to live here and would work with Bevy and Vista, and I thought that was wonderful that you helped all the
I
different
miss
Vista
it.
clients.
She used to
Yeah.
come.
Yeah, I definitely miss it.
We did game day together too.
Oh.
Yeah, she helped with game day and
And I hate to ask, but I'm assuming you're sighted.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank God.
Well, you never know because they're like this
It's
Ann
true.
Cunningham. You know, she's blind, and
Right,
so you never know.
right.
Well, Janie, you're welcome anytime to do a crafting class or workshop here. I
Thank
think
you.
it's really, really fun, and it's something we don't have a lot of right now at this branch.
I would love to do that. Thank you.
So we can keep in touch about that, and that might be really fun to
Okay.
put together.
And on this listing that you'll receive, it talks about all of the different groups and clubs, and a lot of them are like state organizations, or some of them are even nationwide organizations. And it gives their Zoom links and how you can connect with them, and it talks about the different ones that have weekly Zoom classes on particular crafts. So I don't know any more about, you know, the extent of what they work on and that sort of thing, but it certainly sounded pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
I'll make sure. So if, you know, somebody wants to tune into one of these classes, like tonight, I'm doing one on the metaglass. There's a class on metaglasses tonight that I'm joining in on.
Oh,
There's just
Bertha wants that. I want that.
there's all kinds of things going on out there from all the different blind organizations, and I get amazed at how many different organizations there are. And
So before Janie has to leave, how much longer do you have, Janie?
I have 20 minutes.
Okay.
Bob, I would love for you to tell Janie and Marcia what you do.
Okay. So I guess I would call myself a woodworker.
I guess absolutely you would.
You don't have to be humble here, Bob.
I used to be more carpentry, you know, building big projects in the yard. I built 3/4 of my house. But anyways, and I used to use all the power tools and everything. And then after I lost my eyesight, I didn't feel comfortable working in my shop any longer. And then I hooked up with Vista, and I was talking with the folks here, and they connected me with a program that was run through the Lighthouse for the Blind. In fact, that's one of the resources that got listed in this thing. And they run a woodworking class. Marcia's familiar with it. She's been to the class, and they have it at their Enchanted Hills camp up in Napa. And so I went there and worked with a whole group of they were blind instructors teaching the blind how to use everything from table saws to planers to chop saws to routers, huge sanders, any kind of power tool that's out there that the woodworking industry uses. They were able to teach us how to safely use. Like I got the opportunity to use the lathe for the very first time, and that was really wonderful. And I halfway connected with them. I was interested I used to read a lot of woodworking magazines when I had my eyesight. And so one day I was just Googling and asked it, you know, are there any audio versions of any of these woodworking magazines? Well, it came back with a group that Marcia's familiar with, and it's called WW and then the number 4, followed by a B, Woodworking for the Blind. And they have this extensive collection of audio woodworking magazines that they actually had members that had eyesight. They were able to sit down and actually read the magazines out loud and record all of that and describe the images. And so they did a really wonderful job with that. So as I signed up so I could get access to their magazines, they had this summer program listed that was this Enchanted Hills camp. And so the Woodworkers for the Blind came out to Enchanted Hills for like 3 or 4 years in a row and held a summer conference out here in Napa. And so that's how I got connected with all of those folks. So after working with them, and I still stay in contact, we have a monthly Zoom meeting that we do about woodworking and sharing information, and we do an annual project that people can opt in on, and making particular small craft items. Like one was a wooden box challenge, and making, you know, like a jewelry box or music boxes, any kind of box that you want to make. And then we shipped them all back to the gentleman was in Missouri, and then he had a group of sighted folks that reviewed all of the projects that were submitted, and then picked the best out of the group. Kind of did first prize, second prize, third prize for the different projects. And each year they pick a particular project to work on. Last year it was toys for kids. And so anyways, after hooking up with them, I got my confidence back. And how they taught us, or how they worked, is so you actually had a blind instructor, and he would put his hands on top of the piece of wood on, say, the table saw, and he would have you put your hands directly on top of his, and then he would, you know, go push the wood through the table saw and talk about all the safety and where you keep your fingers and thumbs and all that sort of thing. And then you reversed roles, and then my hand was the one that was controlling the wood, and he had his hand on top of mine, and would give correcting tips and information, you know, to make sure I was paying attention and knowing how to do things safely. And then the third component of that was he took his hand off, and then you did it by yourself. But he was still there, and he's really, his name is George Wurtzel, and he's really in tune. He's been a blind Wurtzel, Wortzel, I believe. And I think it's SEL. I can get that for you. And he's a phenomenal woodworker. He's been blind virtually his whole life, and he's run his own cabinet shops, making high-end cabinets for homes. And he used to, with his big lathes, he used to turn, like when he was in the East, a lot of the homes or businesses there, they had those giant wooden turned columns on the porches, you know, holding up the front porch and that sort of thing. And, you know, after many, many, many years, those, you know, the wood broke down and they got rotted or chipped or whatever. And so they would come to him and ask him to recreate those. And so he was able to recreate all these beautiful columns on his lathe. And he's just done a number of projects. He currently, as Marcia knows, because she just went back and visited him, he's in Tennessee now, and he has his own workshop where he teaches classes, and he has an art gallery for displaying a lot of his work. And he completely remodeled it. It was an old dry cleaner building on this main street in this small town in Tennessee, and he's completely renovated that whole building and turned it into living quarters for himself, and then the gallery and the workshop. So he's really pretty amazing. And there were other gentlemen that were instructors as part of the class, and I think it's with most things, once you make a connection with somebody, you kind of stick with them. I mean, you just feel like you're part of the group or part of the family, and you can call up any one of them, or there's group lists that you can throw out questions on, how do you do this? How do you do that? And everybody's always willing to jump in and help and teach you things. So I came back from that. I went back into my shop. I bought a couple of new tools as soon as I came back. I was telling my wife, boy, as soon as I get home, I'm buying a planer, because they had that in the shop. I was like, I can't believe what that can do for me and save me so much time. I realize it's going to cost a lot, but it's going to save me a lot of time. And I just have a single car garage that's my workshop, and so it's pretty tight quarters in there to work around everything. So
you've made.
So I make everything from I've made a couple of desks, a couple of tables, smaller gift craft kind of things, like
The reeds.
I made these scent diffuse. I made this wooden box a small box, say it's like 4 inches square, and then it had a hole in the top that I drilled out on my drill press and shaped it. And then there's it basically fits one of the smaller mason jars, and then you can buy lids from the mason jars that have decorative holes punched in the lid. And so then I was able to buy all the different scented what are the essence? What am I thinking of? The oil, essential oils. Buy the essential oils and make up these different scents. And I did these at Christmas time, so they all had kind of pine or wood smoke scents to them. And then you put these reeds through those holes in the. You fill the bottle up first with the liquid that has the essential oils in it, and then you put these reeds in from the top, and they basically act as wicks, and they carry the scent up through the wicks and then release that into the room. Smaller projects like that I've made. My most recent project that I'm just thrilled with, and again, our AI friends helped me with the design of it. I built we have an older Chihuahua who had one of his eyes removed, and since he had the eye removed, he has no depth perception. So he could try to get off the bed and he would just fall to the ground because he had no idea where he was in space. And so I built him this ramp, and the bed was 30 inches high. And so I put into ChatGPT, actually Gemini, I put into there and said, okay, I want to make a dog ramp that's going to go from the ground up 30 inches high. And I have the width of my bed is 6 feet that we have to make this ramp work in. And it came back and said, okay, well, we're going to need to do basically like a switchback ramp. And because it even said, the most gentle slope for the dogs is such and such a percentage slope. And so I finessed it with the design, getting it fit the way I wanted it. And then it actually calculated out a supply list for me of what I took to the lumber yard and said, okay, I need 3 sheets of this for, just all the pieces that I needed. I was able to take to the lumber yard. And it also then provided me what's called a cut list, which says, okay, take sheet number 1, which is a 4x8 sheet of plywood. And out of that, you're going to cut part D, C, and G is what you're going to be able to get out of that one sheet and maximize that piece of plywood so you don't have any waste. And so it helped me figure out the layout of the order in which I would cut things out. And it even determined the angle that the slopes were going to be at. And so you had to cut some of the wood, the ends of the wood needed to be cut on an angle so that they fit flush with the landing. So basically started at the ground, it came up 14 inches to a landing, and then the landing was twice as wide as the ramp. The ramp going up was 16 inches wide, and it ended up being 42 inches long. And it went up to this landing that again was 16 inches wide and 32 inches, 16 inches deep and 32 inches wide, because it took you over that extra 16 inches so you could do the next ramp, the switchback going up to the bed. And so it calculated those angles. It even told me, okay, you need to set your saw blade at this particular degree in order to make these cuts. And I have a talking angle gauge and a talking protractor that I'm able to put on the blades of my tools, on my saws. And then and it's connected to an app on my phone. And then I'm able to adjust the angle of the blade on my saw. And believe it or not, this is more, I'm able to cut things more accurately as a blind person or visually impaired person than I could when I could see, and doing it the conventional ways that woodworkers would use, because this is digital and it'll get you to the 100th of a degree. Wow. On setting your saw blades. So I've also done other work in my house since the class and with this angle gauge. And so I don't know if people are familiar with putting in like baseboard molding or corner molding, ceiling molding at the top, and you've got to cut the angles in the corners so that the boards come together nice and flush and you got nice, perfect, tight corners. And this was like, I don't even know how to describe how thrilled I was with how accurate I was able to make those, that you don't even see a gap in there anywhere in the wood. Whereas in the past, you just set it for, it's, one wall going this way and a perpendicular wall, so that's a 90-degree angle. So half of that's 45-degree angle, and you just go cut that. And then you go to the wall to put it in, and all of a sudden you kind of have this gap because the walls aren't perfectly square.
Yeah.
And so with this talking protractor, I'm able to take the protractor, put it into the corner of the wall, and it measures the exact angle that those walls are. And then I can take that tool right out to my saw and set that on my saw and cut the exact angle that I need. And so I've been able to make the most perfect 40, like if you're like making a picture frame and you're cutting the angles on the 45s to join the pieces of wood together. I'm just so tickled with how nicely they all come out these days, because they were always huge challenges before.
I just want to add something in here for anyone who uses social media. Andrea made a really cool video of Bob, I think, using some of the tools that you're talking about that's on her Instagram. So if you want to see a little demo of Bob in his workshop, it was cool for me to see how you were using the tools because I'm not familiar with them.
Oh, cool.
For someone, who's sighted, but there's a little kind of video demo up there that she put together that's came out really, really nice.
Oh, nice.
Using the angled protractor that you can hear it talking. There's also like an audio description over the video too. So just wanted to mention that in case anyone wanted to look at it.
Yeah, Andrea was great. She came up to my house. Her and Roberto came up to my house, and videotaped in the shop. And
not to put you on the spot, but it did come out really cool.
I haven't. Well, I couldn't see it, but I could listen to it. But I haven't had the occasion to be able to do that yet.
Yeah.
And then that thing you made for this new office we're in, right outside the door.
Oh, so I made right when we moved into this new building. So everybody was unfamiliar with where the different offices were, or the conference room, or the bathrooms. So I made a 3D tactile model, or sort of blueprint, if you will, of the office. So I took a real thin sheet of plywood. Let's just say it was 2 foot by 3 feet. It was a little different than that, but 2 foot by 3 feet. And that was basically the base. And then I took a 1/4 inch square pieces of wood that I then used as the walls. And so then I was able to lay out, and I came in and measured every little square inch of this building. I came in and measured it all out. Like I had to come back a couple of times to confirm my measurements. And then in my garage, in my shop, I just started, laying the walls down and measuring where the windows were and the openings were, and the stairway. There's a stairway, so I built this little set of stairs on it. And so the base piece of plywood, I painted it white, and then the walls are all painted black, so that there's this really strong contrast, so that the visually impaired would be able to see that. It all has like a giant picture frame that goes around it. It hangs on the wall in the hallway just outside our front door, so people can. I still need to make a little "you are here" kind of little symbol, so when people are standing out there feeling this model, they know where they are. I didn't know exactly where that we were going to hang that model, so I didn't put that on in the beginning, but
There's some cool
to do
little
that.
features, like I think you use bump dots for the truncated domes that are just outside. We tried sticking braille labels on the rooms. It didn't really stick to the wood very well, but they are labeled with letters. I have to tell you, Bob, Roberto uses that all the time.
Does he?
With
Oh,
clients that come in.
Oh, good.
He always he does a little O&M on the side. Once in a while, we're getting newer clients used to the office. He'll bring them out there first and have them feel the whole map, and then take them around the office if it's their first time here.
Oh, that's
for
fun.
AT or something. So that does get a lot of use.
I had no idea if it was going to be practical or not, so I'm glad to hear that.
And the dog, you talk about the treat libraries.
The what?
The treat libraries.
Oh, so I have a sad story about that that just came up this week. So
it's okay, maybe
uh,
not.
I made these boxes. They're kind of triangular shaped in a way, and so you have a back piece, a base piece, and then you build this box off of that, and it has like this hinged lid angled at the top. And when you open the lid, the two side pieces have grooves cut in them, and then I slid in a piece of plexiglass that fit inside those grooves so that like one wall of this box you can see through. And so this whole box, and we had a friend actually painted and put paintings of our dogs actually on it. Anyway, so that's mounted out right beside our mailbox on the street. And so as people go by, the top of it, there's a little sign on the top of it that basically says, good dog treat box, please take one. And so people who are walking by, they can lift the lid and pull out a dog biscuit and give their dog a dog biscuit. Well, my sad story is for 3 nights in a row, it has gotten completely emptied out. My wife will go down there and completely fill it up. She goes back to daylight the next morning and it's empty. And we're not sure if some sort of animal is getting in there.
Bet raccoons.
It could be raccoons, but we don't see any evidence of, where they had to scratch at it or, tear it open, or there's no crumbs on the ground below it or anything. So we're just kind of at a loss. So
Wildlife camera.
I was thinking of putting we do have one of those, but there's not a convenient spot to hang one out there. But I'm thinking of putting a little latch now on the lid, and humans would be able to easily flip the latch open, and hopefully the raccoons wouldn't if that's what's getting in there. So that's I'm gonna put a little latch on there. And so I made a whole bunch of those and gave those to friends. And it's kind of like one of those, if you've seen those little lending libraries
I love those.
that are in neighborhoods where it's kind of like a little dollhouse that's made, and it's got a door that opens with, again, plexiglass on the front so you can look in, and there's shelves, and then there's books that people put in there. And so you can take a book and leave a book.
Oh, wow.
And so it's the same kind of thing. In fact, there's several in my neighborhood that have those lending libraries, and I wanted to go talk to them and say, hey, would you like to have this dog biscuit dispenser beside your library?
Yeah.
But my wife's kind of talked me out of that, I guess. And, so it was kind of arrogant, going over to people and say, hey, you want one of these to put up?
Yeah, I think. And they're called free little libraries. And actually, San Jose State made an app where you can use to locate where they are in the neighborhood if they're like registered for free little library. So that it doesn't capture all of them, but if you're in a new place, you're going a little scavenger hunt and go around, and you can see where they are, like on a little, like, I don't know, just like a Google map, Apple map.
And just before I started that dog ramp, which was my last project, in fact, it's not 100% done. I have to hang the doors on it. There's on the ends, there's cabinets that are built into it, and I've got the doors all framed up, and I need to hang the doors on, and then it'll be done. Oh, and I put LED lights along the ramp, so there's little side guardrails so my dog can't step off the edge of the ramp, and so then there's a trim piece that goes on the top of those rails, and underneath those rails I put LED lights under there, and I found this really cool motion sensor that I was able to connect to it. So there's 2 motion sensors, one at the top by the bed and one down on the front near the ground. And whenever my dog walks by it automatically turns those lights on, so he can get up in the middle of the night and the lights will come on and he can see where the ramp is.
So Janie and Toby are master dog lovers. Actually, Janie and Toby is where my last retired lab seeing eye dog.
Nice.
That's where he
Right.
was to Janie and Toby. And now they have 4. 3 are career change dogs, and 1 is
Two.
Two
Are career.
2 are career.
So you have Riley.
Riley's gone to the Rainbow Bridge, but I did have him.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you're talking right up her alley with making all this stuff with dogs and stuff. I love to stay with Jamie and Toby, and yeah, I've always, if I believed that I could come back as anything, I would believe that I wanted to come back as a dog because I'd want to live with Jamie and
Oh, so
I have to point out that I should have said this at the beginning, but there is a furry friend that I can see in the background of Jamie's video.
Oh, which
that
one
is
do you
showing her
have?
tips and tricks.
That's my medical alert service dog, Misty, and she's a diabetic alert dog.
oh, cool.
Misty. Oh.
Misty. She's
And
a golden retriever.
Very sweet, very
Nice.
sweet.
And I forgot to mention on the dog ramp, I carpeted it rather than it just being wood. So on top of so I built this whole wooden frame and then put the plywood ramps on it and then carpeted the
That's a good
the
idea.
ramp so the dog doesn't slip. And
I want to know how long it took your dog to figure out how to use it.
about 3 days.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We made a mistake in the beginning. I was at one end and my wife was at the other, and it's like, come on, come on, come on, trying to push him up the ramp. Come on, come on, come on. And we should have used dog treats. And it's like, what the heck were we thinking? We should have just put a row of treats going up the ramp
That's
and around the
right.
corner, and he'd have found his way up on the bed just by
That's
eating the
right.
treats.
Yeah.
But yeah, after 3 days, he doesn't hesitate to use the ramp. And I was worried that he would sort of fall off the end of the bed onto the ramp. So on the back side of the ramp, there's a taller piece of plywood that comes up with a nice piece of wood trim around it. So it basically makes like I think you call it like a footboard at the rather than the headboard on the bed. So this is the footboard at the end of the bed. So if he walks to the end of the mattress, there's this wall basically that guides him to the opening to get onto the ramp and go down.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have to say goodbye. And Bob and Bevy and Marcia and Sophia, thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for
Thanks for
being here with us.
joining.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Sorry, I have to leave early.
We appreciate your time
Tell
and
Barbara and Toby I said hi.
Will do. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Bob.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Isn't she great?
yes, you're wonderful. And just before I did the ramp, I was doing a sort of a household project. I had this empty. We remodeled the house like 30 something years ago and put a second story on, and it left this void between the roof of the old house and the new house, and it was always just sort of walled off. I mean, it was there, but anyways, I just turned that into like a finished attic. So
cool.
so I ran electrical in there and put lights in there and a floor in there and nice walls and
That Henry's Ford up there.
yes. And then my next project is so in my single car garage, at one end of the garage is the garage door that opens. Well, I don't think a car has ever been inside this garage because it's so small. Since we've owned it, there's never been one in there. And so I've decided I'm taking that door off and I'm just going to put a solid wall in there. And that'll give me a little bit more space in the garage to utilize versus having the door at the end. It'll still from the outside it'll still look like a door, but it's basically going to be a solid wall that I can then rearrange things in my shop.
Yeah.
And I bought this new ventilated shield that I wear. So for 34 years, I used to have a full beard. And then when I started all this woodworking, I couldn't use a respirator with the beard. So I had to shave my beard off. And I used this, what's called a half face respirator, it has the little cartridges on the side of it to keep all the fine wood dust out of my lungs. And it was always a pain using that, and then safety glasses and ear muffs on top of that to protect my ears. Well, there's this company that makes this all-in-one unit. It's a little bit heavy, but it's basically like you're putting a hard hat on, and it's got the ear muffs attached to it, and it has a fan on the top and a face shield that comes down in front.
Darth Vader.
It's like that, and it seals around your neck. It has this cloth inside piece that seals around your neck, and it blows fresh air in.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and having that fresh air blowing across your face while you're working at the table saw is just so wonderful. And so I can grow my beard back now if I want.
That's awesome.
Bob,
Yes, Marcia.
can you let me know the name of that that all-in-one?
It's called Trend, Trend, Trend face guard, Trend face, Trend face
Let me look it up.
shield, I think it is. Trend, Trend is the company. You can look it up on Amazon. Trend face shield.
Trend air circulating
There you go.
face shield. Let's see.
Yes, the Trend Air something Pro.
Trend Air Shield Pro.
Yeah,
For
Trend
face shield.
Trend Air Shield Pro is the name if you look it up. You can either buy it directly from them or you can find it on Amazon and buy it from Amazon. And it comes in different configurations. If you didn't want the earmuffs, you didn't have to get the earmuffs, and you can buy spare batteries and filters and all that sort of
Bevy,
stuff.
it's very Darth Vader.
I-
I want to confirm it's black and it's definitely very Darth Vader.
Yeah. I can't
Can I
imagine.
tell you, something that you can use as a substitute, Bob?
Oh, please, absolutely.
When I came back from Tennessee working with George, there were 7 of us. One of us had vision, and that was because he was our driver to get us around.
That's good that he
Everybody
has
else,
vision.
everybody else were blind, and there was only one other person besides myself who had low vision. And all the goggles that George had there just kept fogging up for me. And of course, I can't complain because I can't be saying, I can't see all these goggles because it's fogging up, because nobody's going to be very empathetic about that with me.
Yep.
So I came back and I asked my neighbor, he is just so smart about things. And he has a workshop. And I said, what do you use? What helps you to prevent fogging up? And he has a face shield. And what he did was he drilled a hole on the bottom of it. And I have to play with it and feel it. And what he did was he inserted a silicone straw, kind of like what you use for snorkeling.
Uh-huh.
What he does is when he uses his face shield, he breathes in with his nose and he exhales with his mouth, just like you would be, for snorkeling. And his face shield never fogs up.
So that
And I thought,
exhausts to the
oh my
outside.
gosh. I thought, gosh, that is just so smart. I still have some vision and I'm just trying to figure out how to prevent things from fogging up. And when he told me that, I'm going to get a face shield and I'm going to have him make me one.
Absolutely. That would be a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the cost of what this trend thing costs. So yeah, it wasn't a cheap option to go this route, but
yeah. And because we're recording this, I'm going to give kudos to Joe Armstrong here in Santa Cruz for coming up with this idea, because I have never seen anything like it or have heard anything like, and I was so excited when I visited him, and he showed me his little face shield. So
he should market that. He could probably make a lot of money selling those.
yeah, I should tell him. I'm not sure he wants to do that. He's retired now. That would be a different endeavor. Yeah.
Yep.
And Bob, woodworking is so addicting. I am actually thinking about buying a lathe myself. So I don't have a garage. I just have to figure out where I store it, where I work with it. And everybody's been telling me, like, wow, isn't it unsafe to be doing that? But the feedback I've gotten from a lot of people is that if you're visually impaired, the lathe is probably one of the safest tool to be using for woodworking, because
Yes.
I was sitting there coming back from the lighthouse woodwork camp, thinking like, okay, how am I going to get a saw? What kind of saw can I get? I have an electric hand saw, but that is so unsafe for me to be handling it. Do I do a chop saw or a table saw? I don't have the space for it. I'm not really using it that often that I could justify convincing my husband to build me a shed for it. But I think a lathe is probably doable for somebody like me who wants to just do it for hobby and for doing occasional work. And I made a plate and I made a bowl and I made a biscuit cutter with George. And I was just so excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lathe is definitely doable, and they make some pretty small ones. Like if you were just doing turning pin blanks to make pins out of, or if you made um, like cork stoppers or handles for like ice cream scoops. There's all kinds of um, like utensils that you can buy that you basically turn this wooden handle to whatever you want that wooden handle to be, and then you can insert the tool, the like ice cream scoop or pizza cutter, or different things like that into this. And so there are a few people that are part of WW4B that live in apartment buildings, and
Mhm.
they have small power tools inside their apartments
Oh, wow.
and do all kinds. And I know a guy who has a lathe inside his apartment, and he sits there and just turns with the little lathe. So yeah, I think that's something that's definitely doable. The thing about I was always worried about a lathe as well, but if you think about it, so with a saw, you've got a spinning blade that you're then pushing the wood into and getting your fingers next to the blade. Whereas with a lathe, you've got the wood spinning, and then you're holding a cutter up against the wood. So you're not going to cut your fingers because there's no spinning blade. You're holding the cutting tool in your hand as you know the wood
Mhm.
is turning around. So it really is a very safe power woodworking tool for a blind or low vision person to use.
Mhm.
At OCB, I don't know if they have their shop anymore, but when I was there, Orientation Center for the Blind in Albany, they had a shop, and I took everything when I was there, and I learned to do the table saw. I never was afraid because of the way that they
Mhm.
taught you to use it.
Mm.
But the one thing that I wouldn't do was the drill press because
Oh.
I can't see anything and I don't know where that drill is going. And I'm not gonna hold something when it's going down. So that's the one thing of all the things that I used there and made things that I wouldn't do the drill press.
Well, one of the things that we talk about is woodworkers for the blind, and this may probably hold true for a sighted woodworker, is many times we spend more time making a jig to hold a piece of wood that we can then drill it or cut it or whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
And you make this jig so that you can keep your fingers away
Yeah.
out of the danger zone. And so sometimes we spend more time making the jig than it actually takes us to make the
Right.
object that we're
Yeah.
ultimately coming up with.
What other things do you like to make?
Bev, excuse me, Bev, the OCB does not have the wood shop anymore,
Yeah, I
nor do
know.
they have the sewing class. So it's very sad. Both of them are gone.
Right. The sewing class is gone too?
The sewing class is gone. The woman
That's
that I
really
cannot remember her name,
Mhm.
she retired, and there has not been anybody who has replaced her. I tried to take so sewing is my passion. And so I try to get help with it. And somebody did show me a little bit, of what can be done. And that person has a website to instruct you in terms of how to do sewing if you are low vision. Um, but it really, I think you really need to have somebody help you to set it up. Yeah.
Could you send that website information to Sophia and then she could maybe put that in the notes and pass it on to everybody?
Sure, I will definitely do that.
Do you want to share your article, Marcia?
Yeah, the New York Times just came out with an article about a company in England called TravelEyes, and I believe it's TravelEyes when s.com. And what they do is they do trips for people who are visually impaired, and they pair them up with somebody who is sighted. And the sighted person get a discount for helping out. And so I think they were paired one-on-one, and their responsibility is to to describe what they see, and to also help guide them through, navigate them around. And what was exciting about the article that they had in the New York Times was they talked about traveling in India. And if you look at, or at least when I look up the travel excursions on websites, they're to a lot of safe places. They're not anything like to travel. It's not like to India. And I found it pretty amazing because they have some video tapes showing the couplet walking through the streets of India between vehicles and in marketplaces. And I just thought, wow, this is the kind of trip that I would want to be on. I've gone to India twice now and to Sri Lanka once in the past 3 years. My last trip to India was this January, and I traveled with two good friends who are very careful with me, and I also traveled with the same guide for the Indian portion, and they're very cautious with me. They would never in a million years let me walk through a marketplace. And it is true that in certain parts of India, you have to be careful because vehicles cross over the center divide and they would kind of come at you, and you have to walk really quickly crossing the street. So when I was first there, I thought people were kind of rude because they didn't know what my white cane was. And then I realized if you have a cane of any kind for any mobility or vision, you would never be out in the street by yourself. You would go out and you would take one of those little motorcycle taxis, and they would get you to 2 or 3 blocks away because it is just really unsafe. But on this TravelEyes um, trip, they were walking through the streets in the market and walking between vehicles. And I thought, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to continue doing as much as I can while I can. And the idea that they were very encouraging about you experiencing the whole cultural thing, not just, what they think is your possibility. I don't want somebody to determine that for me. But anyway, I was very excited about it. I haven't figured out the exchange rate, how expensive it is, because I think it is in pounds, and at least everything in England tend to be more expensive even than the euro conversion. So I suspect it might be an expensive trip. But I just wanted to tell people about it. And if you wanted to go to the New York Times website, you can listen to the description, and it was just wonderful listening to what they were doing. And I went and looked at the website, and they have trips to Morocco. They have a few trips in Europe. I think there was a trip to Asia somewhere, but that's the kind of adventures that I want to do.
Yeah, no, that sounds fun. I think there are a couple of I don't want to call them companies, organizations that specialize in helping put together trips for
Yeah.
the visually impaired.
One of them, and I've been on one of them, took a cruise to Alaska. And that was from a company that put together the cruise ships.
Mhm.
For
Yeah.
people.
See, and I'm not into cruise ship. I
Oh,
want to be out there safaring and
I've been
actually,
out there for sure.
yeah, my
I've
first trip.
taken 12 mission trips, and I've been to South Africa and Peru and Bolivia and Philippines and et cetera. So yeah, I know what
Yeah,
it's like to be out there.
yeah, and it's very hard to find those trips, organized trips. I think it's easier if you organize it or somebody help you organize it and do it. So I do it with whatever my friends do. I have an input in terms of the additional cultural things that I want to do. And every trip I go on, I always say, I want a cooking class. And I always insist that we have a cooking class wherever we go. But my first trip to India, we climbed up to this temple that was 4,000 steps up, all marble steps. The steps were uneven and there were no handrails. And they kept saying, there are people who can carry you up. They're all waiting here, they're willing to carry you up. And I was saying, well, no, I have no problem going up. I need help probably getting down, but I'm going to climb those 4,000 steps. So anyway, just wanted to share that. But anyway, the New York Times article is really what I wanted to talk about.
Thank you for letting us know about that.
I just wanted to very quickly welcome Yvonne, Tiffany, and Jesus joined us. Just want to make sure everyone knows they're here. Sorry to
Hi,
interrupt.
guys.
Hi.
But thanks for stopping in and listening. Just today, our topic is about kind of like accessible crafting and hobbies and methods that everybody uses to kind of do the things that they enjoy. So that's what we've been talking about. And Betty, I think you had some stuff you
Yes,
wanted to
I
share.
have. Okay, now I gotta get my phone to talk.
Do you want me to pass the stuff back to you so you can then talk about it to the group? Or? Oh no, you have the
Okay,
video,
yeah.
the audio.
Oh, come on. Okay, you ready?
House, a flag.
I'll put it in the
Host,
center.
flag.
That's okay.
Messages, tips and tricks, voice memos.
I've been using my voice memo app on our iPhones to record stories and songs. I'm the oldest member in my family now, and I have lots of childhood memories of people that many of my family members have not met. So I've been enjoying recording stories or funny songs or funny things that I think about with my family and some friends too, sending them in texts and emails. So I just thought I would jump in on this tips and tricks and say that is something, I don't know if you'd call it a hobby, but I think it could become a hobby for me because I enjoy doing it. Even my first tape recorder was when I was 5 years old. I had one of the old reel-to-reel tape recorders. And I would take it with me everywhere and record people like I'd interview them like a newscaster. So anyway, if any of you have not tried the voice memo and you like to share stories or maybe even just instead of typing out a text or dictating a text, letting people hear your voice, it seems to be something that my friends and family are enjoying very much.
That was from Donna.
I realize she's not here. Does anybody know, is there like a time limit on a recording for that?
No, I think you can, for the voice memos, I think you can do it as long as you want to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, she uses hers a lot. She's got a beautiful, beautiful voice, and sometimes she'll sing songs that I'll listen to and stuff. Yeah, so it is an awesome thing that she does with it, for sure. So, I guess with the people that came in, we could show these things. Should we do
Sure.
that again, or?
And I'm not sure who's sitting where, but if they have any hobbies that they
Oh yeah, let's
do,
that
I'd
first.
love to hear what kinds of things you do, or
Yeah.
and I don't want to put anybody on the spot, so if you don't want to say anything, that's fine too. But if you please jump in if you have some sort of hobby that you like to
Tiffany,
do.
I think you do, don't you?
Well, I mean, there's something I haven't done in a while, but something that was a hobby of mine for a while, after I was visually impaired as I am. I loved going. I'm gonna hopefully do it this summer. Going sailing.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
We have something coming up in June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I love sailing. It's just it's a you know my little knack of it saying is that it's the only thing I can legally drive is the little boat. And so, but it's a lot of fun, and it's just really it's kind of a it just separates you from the whole real world. It kind of gives me a sense of just peace and just I don't know just to get away from regular daily life kind of thing, and so it's fun.
What size boats?
These were 24 foot. They're called J24s.
Okay.
So a 24-foot boat. And so normally with these, the way it is each there's an impaired person is matched with a sighted, experienced sailor. I mean, experienced the fact where some of these men and women have sailed by themselves to Hawaii and back to, they did a lot of sailing. And so you each get matched with one, and then two pairs are per boat. And so and it's great because you get to do kind of everything. You, for a while, one of you will steer the boat, and we do what's called tacking, where you turn, and the big boom with the sail comes across. You got to duck down when it turns, and so one person is manning the sail with bringing in the rope, or letting it out, landing on the cleat, which is what it's called, where you lock it in, and keep it in place, and so you do, get to learn everything.
Do that out in like the Santa Cruz Harbor, or where do you sail from?
Well, those ones. It's called the Marin Sailing Club, the one that's up in the bay.
Okay.
In the San Francisco Bay Area.
Marin Sailing Club for the Blind.
Yeah.
Really?
That's,
Oh,
that's
that's
what you
cool.
said?
Yeah.
Marin. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. And when I went to the OCB, the Orientation Center for the Blind, that was an activity they did in the summer there. And so I got to do that a couple times with them. And then I also they did activities, just with open activities, with other people. And so I did that a few times as well. It's a lot of fun. And I actually, normally stay in the bay. But there was this one time, I was actually with my, this was when I went with OCB with my roommate from OCB. And she and I did really well together. We actually went out under the Bay Bridge into the open water. And it was amazing. We got soaking wet. It was so much fun.
And I bet with GPS today, technology can assist quite a bit.
No doubt. Yeah. There's actually, I know that there's a blind woman who actually has sailed by herself to Hawaii. She had a boat falling behind her in case something happened. And she did have to get rescued once. But still, she did, 90% of it on her own. And so it's amazing.
I still find it amazing that people can just start out in that big ocean right off the shore here and travel thousands of miles and hit that tiny little island and find it in that big vast ocean.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned in the newsletter. Something will be coming up.
Great.
Yeah.
And don't you knit?
No.
Okay.
Wish I did.
That is one of the things that I do also knit. I'm knitting baby blankets right now, but I didn't bring one because I didn't have one finished. I want to learn to crochet, but I've been trying, but I haven't mastered that one quite yet. Anybody else?
I have too many hobbies.
Too many.
Okay, tell us
Well,
about
at least pick a couple.
I like to collect a lot of stuff like old coins. I love collecting all that. My oldest brother got me into that. I've been collecting, I want to say, about 8 years, silver and gold.
Nice.
Yeah.
In this handout that is going to come out in the notes, that there is a paragraph or a whole little section about coin and stamp collecting as hobbies in the national organizations that are tuned into collecting for the blind and stuff. So.
Where do you collect the coins from? Like from special stores?
So my
How does
brother,
that work?
my oldest brother, he got me into the whole game of that. He always takes his vacation, this year in June. I believe he's going to Cabo and Monterey out there in Mexico. So all those places he always visits. He always brings old antique monies back or anything like that.
Does he purchase and trade them, or he
he
literally
goes
checks
to
and
the
finds them?
the flea market here in Santa Cruz every Sunday. He comes here, so he knows his buyers and all that.
Oh, he sells them.
He
But how
sells
does
and
he
buys.
acquire them on his trips?
I guess he just knows his people already, so
Some
he knows
connections.
where. Yeah, he's been doing it so already.
Gotta start saving pennies since they don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
It'll take a long while before they become valuable.
Exactly.
The billions of those in
Right.
circulation.
Right. Any more hobbies you wanna share?
Well, since I'm visually impaired, I can't drive anymore or none of that.
Yeah, we
Um,
can't either.
The last time I drove was probably when I was like 16 years old.
Uh-huh,
I'm 23 now.
uh-huh.
Another hobby, I'd say RC cars. I have a lot of RC cars.
Hmm.
So I could have fun. I can't have fun in a real car anymore.
What's
Yeah.
an
RC car,
Radio
remote
control.
yeah.
Oh,
Or remote
yes, yes,
control.
sorry.
Yeah.
RC.
Where do you operate those?
There's normally what is it? A library and an antique museum right there, like right across the street from my home. And there's a lot of rocks there, so I take my rock crawler on the rocks.
Cool.
That's fun.
And does it have something that, like, if you misplaced the car, is there some way of locating it? Like with GPS, it has a signal or
It
something?
normally each time you press a little trigger for the gas, it normally makes a little beeping sound all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it battery powered? Is that how?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I
Thanks
know
for sharing. That's cool.
there's all kinds of radio controlled
Yeah.
planes and cars and all that
I
kind of
was
stuff.
looking into a jet boat now.
Into a jet boat as a remote controlled one, or
No, to actually get on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Where are they up at the Rogue River up in Oregon? They have those jet boat rides that go up the river there.
They look fun.
Hmm.
I'm afraid of the water though. I can't go in the open sea.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Finally, it's okay.
Well, very cool.
Yeah.
Yvonne, is
Anyone
there
else,
anything that
Yvonne?
you wanna, I know you told me that you used to do a lot of drawing, portrait drawing.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you do that
Yes.
too. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
When I was able to see, I was able to draw anything. And I did airbrush, I've made, I could sew. I drew on shoes for kids, I've done a lot of stuff, I've done a portrait of Elizabeth Taylor when she played Cleopatra. I've done portraits of Michael Jackson, Ice Cube, anybody. Basically, I've done whatever anybody asked me to do for them. And I like to sew. I still kind of sew now. So. And I do a little bit of sewing on the sewing machine. I play a little bit of basketball with my granddaughters. They have these balls, of course, you guys should know that they have ball, like bells in them.
Yeah.
So I find that kind of interesting. I just started playing with this ball, but hey, actually, it makes a big difference. So sewing is my thing right now, and I do sew by hand. Like Betty, I haven't been able to master crochet either, but it's a big challenge. I wanted to make a blanket for my grandson, but I've gotten just big little string so far. But no, sewing, I like to sew, and art is my thing. So if I could get back to learning how to do some graphic imaging or stuff like that, that's my goal right now.
Too bad Bo's not here.
Yeah.
I know,
have you
I have
ever-
to connect you with him. Bo is another, you've met Bo probably before, you've heard his voice here. He's designing a cool, like, I don't know exactly how it works, but it's a pen for artists that like has haptics in it, so you can kind of, I don't know, he's a very smart engineer guy, so some of what he's describing to me kind of goes over my head. It's a pen for blind people to draw and to sense what they're drawing, and I don't really know how it works yet, but you can chat with him. Yeah,
And he makes the dice with the raised up bumps on it. Yeah.
Actually,
which is
really
really
cool.
printer.
Right now, I'm working on some. It's almost like the cancer bow, but it's a bow for people that are visually impaired for vision awareness. And then I'm working on creating some bows for our center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Some ribbons.
you said you're good as you probably were. Would you open a window, please?
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. That's why I was getting up. Open a window. Thank you so much.
Sorry, no, I was feeling it too.
Yeah.
Me too.
It felt like a heater turned on or something.
It really is. Monica likes to test.
Something I just sort of thought of, don't know if any of you have any interest. So I have because I actually live up near Monterey. And I have a friend of mine who's also visually impaired who attended Monterey Peninsula College. And something we were talking about the other day, I don't know if you guys have heard of this goalball?
Yes.
Yeah. And so goalball is a game where you play, you play, it's a blind game, and if you're not blind, you wear a blindfold. And it's a game where you have 2 teams of 3 people, and you usually play indoors on a court, and where you have like taped off areas and raised stuff on the ground so you can feel where you play. So you have a center, a left wing, and a right wing. You have a ball that has bells in it, and so each team, when it's one team's turn, they stand up, and the center usually throws the ball underhand, rolling it, and the team opposite will dive onto the floor to block the ball, because the goal is to get that ball to hit the back wall of the opposite side. That's what give you a point. And so the other team is their goal is to stop the ball, and then once they stop the ball, they get it, and then it's their turn to throw it. And so it's all about blocking. It's a little rough, but you have padding. You wear they have hip pads, hip pads and shoulder pads and knee pads and everything. And so, but we're looking at possibly starting up a small group of that, even with some people who are sighted just wearing blindfolds. So yeah,
It I'll probably try to include it as an article in an upcoming newsletter. But in today's CNN's website, they have a whole story about blind baseball and how they're trying to get that as a recognized event for the next so 4 years from now, for the Paralympics.
like beat baseball.
No, regular baseball, but for the blind. And I don't know how.
That's why I say beat baseball is what I think of, because that's where the baseball itself beeps.
Okay.
That's
how they use it
because they call it beat baseball.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, as opposed to the other one you called was goal. What was the one that you played?
It's called goalball. This is like a
Goalball,
totally the ball itself is usually more like a size like a dodgeball kind of size of a ball in goalball. Yeah.
Beat ball.
Beat baseball.
Beat baseball.
Yeah, I know there's a U.S. team that travels around the world, and there was a big
and they play. I'm pretty sure they play the Paralympics too.
But they're not. They've done it as a demonstration.
Yeah,
sport.
they just got it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're hoping to get it as a recognized event kind of thing. But yeah, last year I think the tournaments were all in Italy, and so they travel around the world playing baseball. And you did the story about the cricket team from. Where did they
we
come
have a
from?
visit from the
Bueno.
cricket team
Sí.
from gosh, where were they from?
Muy bien, I would.
But they were all blind cricket
They
players.
came to visit. The team came to visit us in San Jose, and they did a little presentation for us. It was really fun because some of our staff got to try it out with the beeping ball that they use in the cricket paddles. And they had a video prepared, and they gave us a whole presentation. Where were they from? We'll have to look back on that. Somewhere international.
Hey, Sophia, I'm gonna take off. My right just got.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
All right.
for joining in. I
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks for
your
joining.
telling us about the coin
Do you
collection.
want to come
Yeah.
this way or?
I'll just go.
Should I move mine up?
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay.
Yvonne, on the basketball, have you been up to Enchanted Hills in Napa, the Lighthouse to the Blind camp?
No, but I'm a student at the Lighthouse, and that's more, I'm planning on going next summer.
I was gonna say, they had, I presume they still do, they have like a half court, basketball court. And if you're standing like on the free throw line, there's a little pedal that you step on, and it rings a buzzer at the basket. So you can get oriented at, oh, there's where the basket is,
nice.
and shoot baskets, and I thought that was a clever little thing.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. Well, what me and my granddaughters we have one of those, those little mini basketballs. the little tiny ones, and
Uh-huh.
so my granddaughter will be, I'm over here now, so I'll just shoot wherever where the voice is at. And sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't.
It was sorry, I just found the post. It was the Indian team, Indian blind cricket
Okay.
team that came to visit back in 2024, actually. September 2024.
Wow.
Maybe
Wow,
that's-
fast.
I know.
They were just here. Huh. Yeah, maybe we need to put together and share sometime resources for like where do you buy all this modified, like the beat baseball or the ball with the bells in it.
Oh, that
all that
they're
kind of
on
thing.
all of the websites,
Mhm.
like, Maxi Aids
Yeah.
and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
A while ago,
Yeah.
I did start to put something together, like a resource guide of a lot of recommended products from like our staff and things like that. Roberto was like, this is my favorite beeping ball that I use with my kids, and
Oh,
Ryan sent me some recommendations, and so but we never fully completed the project because we were going to set up an Amazon affiliate thing, but I still have the resource I could probably share out. It has all the links in it. It's like an Excel sheet of the products and the links, and yeah, yep. There is a lot of sort of cool recreational stuff in there.
Right.
one of the things that I thought, I've not seen it, I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but there's a lot of um, bocce balls, courts all around Santa Cruz and up in Scotts Valley and out at De La Viega, and there's got to be a way to have that modified so that the blind can play bocce ball.
Because it only has to be the little white one, that the target that is like beeping or something, right?
Yeah, but isn't the target changes though? Right? As you bump the one ball, then you somehow you need to know where the other balls are so that you can bump into them, and
Oh yeah, that's true.
but it seems like they could figure it out somehow.
Yeah, I also looked up a whole bunch of blind recreational adaptive organizations, and I have a list of them, and I can forward it to your email.
Sure, thank you.
Mhm.
That would be great.
So do you want to tell the other folks who joined about your projects that you have here, Betty?
Sure, we could, do you want to start with I don't know where the baskets are, but
Oh, here, let me move
maybe
it
you
for a
could
second.
start with Tiffany and,
Oh yeah, Tiffany, if you want to check out, I put two different baskets in front of
Okay.
you that Bevy made with various types of yarn. The one on the right has coasters in it.
Very nice. That's really neat.
I didn't really make that basket to be a coaster holder, but it just,
Worked, right?
it just, like it was made for it.
It's really cool.
Like a coiled.
Yeah, that's really neat. I like that.
So it's made out of like either like a jute, a small, or clothesline, that you would hang your clothes on.
Yeah.
And then you get different types of yarn, and you wrap the coil with that, and then you start with the base, and I have to use, because I have no vision, I have to use my fingers to glue. But the glue comes off your fingers really easy. I have to stop every time my glue starts sticking to the basket.
Yeah.
Clean my fingers now. But yeah, they're very fun, and I totally do not need any sighted visual help with it.
That's
So
cool.
so that's
There's two different, there's one they stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
And then here's two baskets here.
and this is a hobby that I've done for many years.
the
It's
coasters
called
inside.
hooking,
Oh, yeah.
and
Just placed it in front of you.
that is a picture of
Neat.
a woman standing above her head. She's holding a heart up towards the heavens, and that's got a sky with stars in it and stuff.
That's neat.
So again, somebody had to, for like the stars, tell me how you knew where to put the stars.
Somebody, actually, Ellen put the stars in there, but what I did know is like to put in to do the heart, she would outline it like a coloring book is outlined kind of thing.
Mhm.
So
Like
it's
puff paint?
outlined.
Puff paint or something?
No, it's wool yarn, and you use this.
Oh, he would outline the heart and then you would fill it
And
in.
then I would fill it in.
Gotcha.
Right, yeah.
Wow.
We tried the puff paint actually, but it didn't work as well as if they actually hooked the outside of it. And then this is, and I actually,
Can you see that shit?
No, can we pass it to Yvonne?
I actually,
Hello.
thank you. This is called Proddy. It's a different type of, with the wool. So you could put, did Tiffany feel
I'll
that?
pass it to Tiffany.
Okay.
Oh,
Almost
wow.
reminds me of
With-
a flat strip.
Yeah, it's not with latch hook though. It's little strips of wool and then you punch it in one side and then you go to the other side. You can feel where you just punched it in and then you push it up. And now you have two little things that are up and
That's
those,
really
that's creates.
This is beautiful.
And that can be done also without any sighted help because it's all filling it in. You know, you can feel where the next one goes and you can feel where the edge is and all of that stuff. But all the hooking,
Is that what this with the pillow? Is that, or how should you do the pillow?
the pillow is called Proddy.
Proddy.
And I made a rug in it that is all of those same colors that's in my, it sits in a transfer part of from going from my dining room area into my living room area so that it kind of goes from a large room into a small room. And so I put the rug there so I could feel where that thing was.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of the colors, Jeannie, who was on earlier, all of the colors match the colors in those areas, the walls and the different things and
Wow.
stuff.
Do you say this is wool?
Wool.
I think that's really neat because I raised sheep.
Right, the wool is
Just
the,
kinda-
also the hooking.
That's
The
really
hooking
cool.
I've been doing for a
Beautiful.
pretty long time and I actually, there was a rug that looked like my last guide dog and he's the face is in the middle and then
Aw.
he's curled up like dogs do. And that's a rug at my house and then there was a pillow that I hooked and a bag. And there was three of us, Janie was one of them, and then our friend Cindy, that we all, they're sighted, we all put our stuff in the fair one year.
Oh, yeah.
And I just put it in because I'd never put anything in the fair before, figuring I never was gonna win anything. I won first prize.
Oh, congratulations.
And you wouldn't, I mean, there's no name when the judges happen, when the
Right.
judges shoves, there's absolutely no name. And there's nothing about the person. And so it wasn't about that I was blind and did that. You know?
Right, yeah.
Cindy and I were jumping up and down, holding each other. I was so excited.
So,
That-
what's actually in here?
Oh, this is called hooking. This is what I'm talking about with the
Okay.
thing. I've given lots and lots of it away. But pillows, so there's an elephant that I made for pillow.
I would like to make pillows for my grandmothers.
Well, Janie actually said, Janie could teach you. She actually is certified in teaching now and with hooking. And she lives in Gardnerville now. She used to teach craft classes here. But she moved away to Gardnerville. And so she just said that she would be willing to come down and teach craft. I don't know how many times she'd be willing to do it, but we're supposed to figure out what kind of craft.
I'd be in on that hooking.
And maybe it's something that she could come down and demonstrate and help get started with the basics, and then you could follow up on Zoom then after that, rather than her coming every time. But maybe
The hooking is a little bit more challenging and is that you have to outline, somebody has to sighted outline like the heart, for instance, or or like I have a picture on my wall of looking out Janie's window and it's an eagle and a fence and these beautiful mountains behind it. And so the eagle had to be outlined and the fence had to be outlined and the mountains behind it had to be outlined, and then I could fill it in with the colors.
you know, something Brian's working on is to be able to take a photo and then have it, get the digital version of it and send it to his, the tactile printer.
Yeah,
And so then you could maybe use that
absolutely.
as a pattern.
Right.
And you put that on and then you could feel the tactile.
And there's
forces of it.
another thing that is really easy to do, would be really easy with your granddaughter with the hooking, is you pick out your granddaughter's favorite colors, and then you cut them into strips, and then you use the hook, and I just pick out of the bag, and somehow my friends tell me, I don't know how you do that, Bev, but they all come out, I don't ever pick the same one in a row or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I picked just whatever color out of a bag of the holes already cut up. And so then you just hook, and when you finish that row, then you grab another color and you hook again. And so when you get all done, you have this pillow that is all different stripes of colors. And so it comes out really pretty, and you don't need anybody to outline anything for you.
Right.
On this Prodi thing, do you tie those off or they're just held by friction with the?
No, you push it in you have a sharp little tool that I have. And so you take 1/2 of the 1-inch strip and you poke it down.
And then back up.
And then back up again. And so
it's tight.
It's tight. It's just hooked in,
Okay.
like that.
That's really nice.
It sounds too like you and Janie were describing a lot of like cool seasonal things that you make too for
the
holidays.
Christmas ones I absolutely
That
love.
could be a fun workshop.
I love the Christmas trees that I made. And they even have, this one even has a little bitty star that we found, I think on Amazon or something, that I put on the top of the tree, and then we glued these little things, and then the lights you can buy at the dollar store, they're itty bitty lights, and they're not very long strings, and so you just string that around the Christmas tree. And then the wreaths are made out of the Prodi also. So the Christmas tree is made out of the Prodi, and the wreaths are made out of the Prodi. And then with the wreaths, I took the candles that are battery lit and put them in the middle of the wreath. And so then you have it as a centerpiece, and you can just turn on the battery lit candle, and they turn out. And then with those two, you can put little sparkly things on your wreath, or whatever you want to do. And really, really, really. And I've made Christmas tree ornaments. Most of them have been hooked, but actually Patrice has one that she loved one year that we made with it's a little snowman. She said that's and that's a different kind of thing that we did with the snowman. But anyways, all different types of things.
And she wasn't able to attend today, but Diane, some of you know Diane Landy, she's in Pioneer. She's an artist that makes beautiful pieces out of different mediums. I think she does I want to say mosaic.
Yes.
She does like some sort of paint dipping technique. So maybe at some point we can try to get that information from her too and share it out, how she does, the techniques she uses to do her art. I think she makes jewelry as well.
She used to do pottery, but I think she sold her kiln.
Okay.
She is also a professional writer, and she writes books for children, and she just sent one in to an editor. So I don't know what the end result has been or not, and she found a way to be able to read it, so she read it to our group, and she did really well with listening and then reading, and that without pausing. That was amazing that she was able to do. She's very talented woman.
Very creative on all fronts, right?
Yes,
Sounds like
exactly. She's very creative.
We have just at this branch in particular, I feel a lot of really a diverse range of talents amongst our clients and interests and hobbies and
Melanie was telling me about somebody that is one of the new people that ties knots or something.
Yeah, we have a couple clients actually that have mentioned that recently, and they're like, yeah, that's my thing. I'm really good at tying all sorts of knots, you know, from Boy Scout days or sailing days, and they say it feels really therapeutic and it's just nice something
I did
to do.
macrame for a long time. My husband was a bosun mate, and so he even made for the captain of the ship bosun mate or macrame lace curtains for the
Oh.
head guy of the ship. And so he taught, we always went to Monterey to the marina to a boat store and bought this really, really nice cotton that I worked with, and I had a hook up high, and so I would step on the two middle ones and tie all these knots to make plant hangers.
Oh,
So-
yeah, I've made those before.
Yeah, so I made monkey knots and twisty
love plant
ones
hangers.
and, you know, regular just.
That might be a fun little class for us to do.
Yeah, it is a fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We, you know, just from the clients that we have, everybody could host their own crafting workshop, various things that we're doing, you know, from time to time. That would be fun. Got a lot of skills.
And maybe
Marcia still
Janie
with us, or-
could teach some stuff.
Yeah, Marcia's
over
still here.
Zoom. You know, that might be a good idea, Bob. I don't know, I'd have to talk to her about it, but. That might be a good idea, that she could teach some craft projects over Zoom.
And maybe as a follow-up to a, you know, in-person
Yeah,
lesson here.
yeah.
These are all great, like rainy day things for us to do in the winter too.
Is anybody interested in making those baskets?
Yeah, I think I would.
The
be.
coil baskets.
Coil
that
ones,
you do?
yeah.
I also wanna make one, like a tray, like with this, shape, sorry. I'm handing it to you, you could feel the shape of it and make it a tray. Where you could have it like on your desk or maybe
Well,
the
like
size of
an organizer
napkins that
tray
you
or
could
something.
put it on your dining room table or whatever and put napkins in it or whatever. I just thought that it might be kind of fun to try making a tray.
I would probably try and make a basket for the back of my toilet. Put some washcloths in there or something.
Yeah. Did you feel the baskets?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
It's really neat, yeah.
I heard through the grapevine that there used to be a weaving program here at Vista Center a long time ago. Maybe it was
Oh.
at the Marin Center.
It was at the Doran Center and they would spin. They taught people how, it was mostly seniors, and they taught people how to spin.
Not the bicycle
wool.
riding type of
No, the
spin.
wool. Yeah. And then yeah, was it weaving?
I think so.
They used frames. And so it was that kind of
Yes.
in and out, yeah, weaving, yeah.
Okay.
So they did do that.
You know, just to mention, when cleaning out the old office, I did find a framed piece of like a woven project that someone had won first place in an art fair, someone named Becky. And it was just, I don't know, in a closet somewhere. So I hung it in the bathroom because that's the only place I have lost things here. But it's in there in case, you know, anyone with low vision or you have medical glasses, it's really beautiful. Something to look at, I suppose, when you're in the bathroom. But that might be something cool to do too. The piece came out really, really lovely, beautiful, like Vista blue colors, like that aqua blue.
I just this is Marcia. I was just at a baby shower and we did tie dyeing with a little bunch of onesies and bib cloth. But when my son was small, there used to be a place downtown that did a lot of fiber arts. And one of the things we did was we did tie dye with Kool-Aids. And it was just a really neat idea of doing something that was non-toxic, and they, you know, have everything in a squirt bottle, and I think it would be something that'd be very easy to do at Vista, because taking anything that's preferably cotton or linen or silk, but probably cotton, and you pre-wash it, and you can take anything that's light color that you have at home that you have stains on it. And that's what I did. I brought a t-shirt that has some stain on it. You do the knotting with the rubber bands, and then you use the dye in a squirt bottle, like a mustard or ketchup bottle, and then you color it that way. But the neat thing about the Kool-Aid dye was we set the color by putting it in the microwave. And it was a very easy cleanup. It didn't stain the way a lot of chemical dyes are. It's very cheap to do. You didn't have to buy the fixative that is involved with a lot of chemical dyes. Or if you use organic dye, you still have to have a way of setting it and doing the setting with it. But I think that would be a very easy project to do because it doesn't matter what it looks like at the end, right? You just put the rubber bands in different patterns and different colors out of your skirt jar.
Yeah, tie-dye is super fun. I've done that a few times and with my nieces as well. How well does the you said Kool-Aid color hold up over time if you wash it and stuff? Have you experimented with that at all?
I think it is like any of the natural dyes. It will really fade out. It doesn't set permanently as well as chemical dye. But I think with chemical dye, a mess. On your
Add sugar to it. Really?
Oh,
colors
oh,
can set.
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
It destroyed some of my grass in which we had it. Because I had a bunch of when I did it with my son years ago, the kids all made a mess. They spill it, and then you just get all the stuff onto the ground, and it's kind of harsh. But I think if you use Kool-Aid, it is like a natural dye, which will stain for a long period, but it will eventually fade.
Well, you could probably at Easter time, you could probably get like the Easter egg dye, and you use that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how well that works on
fabric.
Yeah, but anyway, Kool-Aid is pretty cheap, so packages
That
Kool-Aid.
idea. That sounds like a fun
One of the times that I was one of the times I was in Peru, we went to this one place where they showed how they made all these dyes for their yarns and stuff. And they used different kinds of plants that would soak for a really long time and bugs, different natural things like that, that would bring up these different flowers. And then they would use those colors to dye their yarn with and stuff. And one of the times that I was in Vermont that I went for a hooking retreat, I got a chance to use like what she's saying except for I was dyeing yarn, wool yarn, and not dyeing a shirt. But it's quite the process, of doing that. It's really cool. So, yeah.
And if anybody was interested, I noticed that Cabrillo College Extension is having an indigo dyeing class, I think on the 7th of June in the morning, and in the afternoon, they're having a natural plant dye workshop on that same day, June 7th. So if you enroll in the class by the end of this week, you get an early bird discount.
That's a great tip. Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about taking that.
Today.
I'm thinking about taking that class, and if anybody think about wanting to do it, we can sign up together and we can get a bigger discount by signing up for with more than one people. So it's just a thought.
One thing that I forgot to mention, but when you're talking about painting earlier, it kind of reminded me. So I used my meta glasses on that dog ramp project. So I primed the whole thing, and then I came back with a top coat of paint on there. And I'm never sure did I get the whole thing covered or not. And I would usually go get my wife and ask her, are there any bare spots or whatever? And this time I used my glasses, and my glasses told me, oh, there's a bare spot, in the bottom left-hand corner, and there's a little bit. And so I then with my glasses, I got a Be My Eyes volunteer, and I asked them the same thing, and they confirmed what the meta glasses had just said. So it was, don't forget that we've got tools that can help us.
Those meta glasses just keep getting better and better and better. every month. I know Brett had asked about, will it tell you what's right in front of you? And so one time when I was out waiting for Melissa, I was at the base of my driveway and I walked up into the street and had my meta glasses on. I just kind of looked down at the ground and said, you know, I'm blind, is there anything in front of me? And it said, there's a few little pebbles on the side of the road, but you are clear to walk for quite some time. So it even will give you mobility help if there's anything in front of you. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I want that link for that thing tonight.
Okay. It's a Blind Unlimited,
Okay.
that group, but I'll forward it to you.
Okay, that'd be.
And then don't
great.
forget, we have a
At 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock meeting.
Okay, cool. We're right at about 1 o'clock, so I think I'll end here just in case any.
Thanks, Marcia, for
Thank
joining.
you, Marcia. Thank you for joining.